Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 175 of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to really identify which aspects of your business and which offers you should focus on to try to drive new clients into your practice. And I think this is very helpful because especially if you are trying to do a lot of your own content creation or your own marketing, you probably aren't sure what you should be promoting. How should you get new clients in the door? And so really this is going to help you to understand what you should be doing with a little bit more clarity. And so I think it's going to be super helpful for you. And kind of the reason why I'm thinking about this is because of some conversations that I've been having about specific services and content and stuff like that practices are creating. And they're trying to figure stuff out, but they're just not really sure what to be focusing in on. So we're going to jump into that in just a few seconds here. But first thing I want to mention first, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe in iTunes or Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. And then if you have any questions, comments, you need help with anything, that best place to get help is to go to the Facebook group, the Veterinary Marketing Nerds. So facebook.com/groups/Veterinary Marketing Nerds. All right. Let's jump into today's episode. So this comes from, a lot of times practices are creating content around, different topics. One of the topics that's very, very hot to talk about right now in general is grain-free diets. I think understanding from the context of like what is important for the clients to know, I think it's very important that you're talking about, content that's out there in terms of like, people are talking a lot about grain-free diets, and people are talking a lot about, whatever it is that comes up. And so you can kind of apply this to whatever's going on at the time. And I'm sure that as fads come and go, there's going to always be something new that there's misinformation about, and then, combating that misinformation so that your clients get the best health care possible, right? And so it's important that veterinarians are in this narrative, right? That you're creating content around that. But then, to the next point is, what should you be creating content around? What kind of offers should you be promoting, right? And how do you monetize or create return on investment through the content that you're producing? Because that's ultimately why you're producing content, right? You're trying to attract and engage and retain your clients, and content allows you to do that at scale. So we're assuming here that content is very, very important, and you agree that it's important. You're going to make some content. So let's go down the road and assume that we're going to be creating content around grain-free diets. And I have no idea, I don't have a dog, so I really don't know anything about this topic at all, okay? So I'm not going to be commenting on that, and please excuse my non-medical background because I do marketing. So let's talk about this though. So if you're creating content around grain-free diets and things you need to know, for if you're a pet owner, and these kind of topics that are going to get a lot of engagement, a lot of comments, and help you to really establish authority in front of your clients and stuff, what should the next step be? So first of all, the content that we have, it needs to be built around a specific offer. So what is that offer that you're trying to put out there? And the reason that the content is going to be built around a specific offer is because you're going to be able to retarget, re-engage, and have people that are interested in a specific topic then take the next step. That's ultimately what digital marketing is trying to do. So we're trying to drive people through technically a funnel or just steps in content and further the relationship. So number one, I think you need to have the end in mind. But what should the end be? So a lot of times if people are talking about, like, for example, diets or something, if you're a veterinary practice and you are trying to get people to come into your practice, a lot of times veterinarians, and this is kind of why I'm talking about this today, they are thinking about, well, I'm going to talk about diets, so I want to sell dog food, and we're going to do promotions for special dog foods that we recommend. And I think that is very cool. I totally get that it's going to help your clients be more healthy and, all of the health benefits associated with that special diet. But let me just let you consider a few things when you're thinking about, doing these kinds of offers. Number one, you have, when you're talking about dog food or other like consumer products that are readily available at any other spot, for example, they sell dog food at supermarkets. They sell dog food at Walmart. They sell dog food at Petco and Chewy.com and all of these other places, right? And so when you have more places that are selling the same product that you're selling, anytime you do advertisement, whether it's through Google ads or through Facebook ads or things like that, it's going to be more competitive. And so more competitive and more voices and more places to buy and more options, this is just difficult to really stand out. And not only that, if you're advertising on Google AdWords for people that are trying to buy dog food, you're now competing with these huge, massive e-commerce retailers that are fantastic at digital marketing. So I'm not trying to discourage you from selling dog food in your practice, but I am trying to say that this is not the low-hanging fruit that lets you be different. So what is it that these companies don't have that you have as a veterinary practice? Well, you're a veterinarian. So that's one thing that they don't have. So a lot of times people don't know, what goes into your products or services just because they have no context for that, right? So if you have, for example, an exam that's a comprehensive exam, and you were talking about nutrition a lot, which is a topic that people wonder about, and you were helping them to really identify things that are important to them. So people have no idea what goes on behind the scenes in terms of like what's included in a comprehensive wellness exam, for example. And so if you're talking about, specifically, okay, we're going to tell you what's the best diet for your dog. Is there differences in diets for small dogs versus large dogs? What does your cat need for a healthy diet? What are kind of diets that are help to prevent cancer? Is that such a thing? Is there, does meat diets actually reduce cancer in pets? Does grain-free diets, like all of these questions that you can be talking about. Instead of saying like, hey, these are all of the things that I think are very, very important for you to understand. Here's the science behind it. And oh, by the way, just so happens that we have a dog food that meets all of these criteria, so you should buy it. A lot of times, especially if you're talking about something that, let's say you're talking about something that maybe is, especially if you're talking to people that are, hesitant to believe what you're saying and what you're talking about. So for example, let's say you have somebody who believes that grain-free diets help to prevent cancer. Like I have no idea, right? So I'm just giving you an example. And they say, this is important because it helps to reduce cancer. And that kind of a person is going to say, like, our natural diets, these big dog food companies are trying to take our money, blah, blah, blah. So if you go out there and you say, hey, I am trying to help educate you, and then I'm going to sell you a product that educates you upon that, like, there's going to be level of resistance there. And that makes sense because people are kind of just, they get things stuck in their heads, and so that's resistance. So that's a less effective way to reach those people versus saying, hey, here's information. It's good information. We have a special this month that with all of our wellness exams, we give you a comprehensive nutrition assessment with the doctor. They're going to go through, they're going to find out, everything that your dog is taking. We're going to look at a holistic wellness approach, and we're going to help you to really optimize your dog's health so that they live longer, live happier, and are as healthy as possible. And so if you shift the conversation from, competing against probably everybody else in terms of like, hey, we are selling dog food, you should get dog food from us because it's healthy for your pet, versus, hey, we're going to help design a comprehensive wellness package, and then you can do it one-on-one, plus you get a wellness exam, plus you get, all of the other benefit of having them come in and actually believe that the information that you're going to give them is personalized and tailored. You're going to be able to convey that information so much better on a one-on-one basis. And I think doing this kind of approach helps you to upsell additional things down the road. So that's like, get them in the door, do a wellness exam. It's not free, right? We're doing a bonus here. So in addition to the normal wellness exam, they get a comprehensive nutrition consultation, right? So we're adding value instead of discounting. And then on top of that, you have the ability, now you have an audience who's interested in this specific thing and they want to know more. And it just so happens that you have these prescription diets that are fantastic. And here's why, and here's what it includes. And this is why this is going to be the best. And so that gives you, I think, such an edge in terms of how to position your products and services. And you have that one-on-one, ability to sell there. So I say all that to say, how can you develop something in your practice that is going to be more effective and different from especially all of the other e-commerce retailers that are out there selling products and creating high quality content? If you are a practice and you're trying to figure out what it is that you should be doing, how should you be packaging your offers, I think that the main difference between you and somebody else is going to be the knowledge that you share with them. So creating context in a relationship through the content that you put out, building that relationship so that they become an actual client, and then packaging up the offers that you have in a way so that it adds value relevant to the info that you're putting out there. So that would be my suggestion in thinking about how you're going to create content, how you're going to create offers for your practice. Don't just go out and say like, hey, we're going to sell dog food and we're going to create content around pet health. I think that is just probably difficult unless you're a dog food company and you have to sell dog food, right? So, thinking about that kind of stuff, here's some tips and tricks that you can use to make sure that you are going to be as effective as possible when it comes to your digital marketing. So number one, think about what it is that makes you different from everyone else. So does your practice have veterinarians who specialize in dentistry and love dental surgery? Do you have special equipment that nobody else has? Do you have special knowledge or special interest in certain things? Do you have special segments that you really love treating? So for example, specific breeds or exotic pets or, whatever it is that makes you different, how can you really focus in on that? And then the next thing that I think is an important tip is how can you package the offer that you're doing and putting out there to seem more valuable, right? The value that your clients are receiving, they are perceiving that value, right? So if for example, I said to you, hey, I've got this, let's say, you're a mother of 4 kids. And I said, hey, I've got this car that I want to sell you. It can go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. It is amazingly fast. It has high performance. It's just the most amazing car ever. But it can only sit and fit 2 people, right? That's not going to be super valuable to you because you are a mother of 4, right? You're not interested in this aspect. So think about how you can specifically package things in a way that it's about people, what people want. It seems like, hey, that's really good value. That helps to justify the price of what I'm paying for, and really outline every single thing that is included in, whatever it is that you're offering. I can't say this strongly enough that people justify their emotional decisions with logic. And they need, if you give them that out that says, hey, here is how you're going to justify this price or this service or this hassle, this inconvenience. It's going to be, you get X, Y, and Z. And really as detailed as you can. Like, people have no clue what goes into a wellness exam just because I have no idea what you do. What is included in there? How much time do they get with the doctor? What kind of questions can they ask? What kind of questions will be answered? Those kind of things really help to outline specifically what they're getting and just build value. So anytime that I'm putting out an offer for anything that I do for any clients, we outline every single thing that you get. And especially when you start stacking those up, it makes it look more valuable just because there's more, right? People pay, they want more stuff for their money typically, right? You don't want less stuff, you want more stuff. It's really interesting. Like, for example, there used to be a 3rd pounder at Burger King to compete with the 1/4 pounder, but because it was 1/4, because 4 was a bigger number, people perceive that to be a bigger hamburger, even though a 1/3 is bigger in volume than a 1/4. It's really interesting. There's so many different marketing tricks and tactics that play on this, that people want more, and they feel like they see more, and there is more, they're going to get more value. So as much as possible, outline what's included, what they get, why they need it, and then also what the emotional benefit is to them. So, pet owners are super nervous about transitioning diets, especially. They're nervous about upsetting their pet's stomach and having accidents around the house when they transition diets. How can you transition without any of those things, right? Going in depth on things like that, not just, hey, you're going to have a healthier pet, but hey, this is going to be a seamless transition. Your dog's going to love this food, and it's going to help you to go from here in a place where your pet isn't healthy and to a place where it is healthy. So, really identifying the pain points, the major problems that you're solving, and then adding value as much as possible. So I hope that this made sense. I would love to get some of your feedback. Be sure to head on over to the Facebook group, Veterinary Marketing Nerds, and let me know what are some things that you're trying to create offers around, and we can brainstorm some different ideas inside that group. If you ever have any questions, any comments, you need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will see you on next week's episode. Have a great day, everybody.